Y'all have been requesting a mud kitchen, so today we are finally building one out of old fence posts and scrap wood. I did my best to measure and document everything that I used and all of the sizes, but you can always optimize it to the scrap wood that you have on hand. I broke this up into 3 parts. We're starting off first with building the foundation. For the foundation, I'll put all of the pieces I used and the measurements for each right here. You're gonna need 4 legs, which I used 2x4s for these, 2 side support beams, which were 15 inches each, and then 2 long support beams. The width of these doesn't matter as much as the length of them. These were 4 feet each. I'm using these interior wood screws. Just buy a whole pack, you're gonna need them. The second phase is the tabletop. Just make sure that you leave a space for whatever size bucket you're putting in for the sink. I had this little 13-inch blue bucket, so that's what I used, and that's what these measurements are for. But if you have a different size bucket, then just figure out what size that is and make sure that there's a hole for that size bucket. I used a piece of scrap wood to evenly space out the boards, but depending on the bucket size and boards that you're using, you may not have to do this. Once you've secured all of the pieces, go ahead and pop that on your foundation that you made earlier. Line up all of the edges and screw that baby in. Don't worry too much about imperfections or anything. This is a mud table. It's just a fun project. Place your bucket sink. Make sure that it fits all fine and dandy. And you're ready to move on to the third and final stage. This is the top back, and for this I used 2 21-inch vertical beams and 2 4-foot beams. These are just made out of fence posts. You're going to lay them out like so. It's easiest to screw down this way, and then go ahead and screw those babies in. I used this pack of screws to space out the board. I believe it's about 2.5 inches. Now to do this part, I would recommend grabbing a second person to help hold this steady while you attach it, or you can use boards like I did to help support it while you're screwing it in. I screwed the top screw into the tabletop and the bottom 2 into the leg, just to make sure that it's nice and secure. And ta-da! You've got yourself a mud table. Feel free to add some extra trim pieces just to make it look pretty. That's what I did, and I also added a shelf underneath it. But overall, this was a super easy project to do and only took an hour and a half.